So what are we discussing in the last class?
SDC,
SCD and CDC
CDC guరించి implementation part.
implementation part. So everybody is clear with the theory, what is SCD and what is CDC and what are the additional columns. Then అందరూ ఒకసారి మీట్ లో పెట్టుకోండి please. Okay, so is everybody is clear? Just yes or no. Is everybody is clear concept? నాకు ఆ రెస్పాన్స్ ఇవ్వండి అక్కడ. Is everybody is clear with the response of CDC and SCD concepts? Okay, so now we are going to see the implementation of SCD. So how do we implement SCD in ODI? Okay, so we have type 1 and type 2 and type 3. So forget about the type 3. Type 3 is not that much important. For type 1 implementation, so the type 1 is, what is the meaning of a type 1? So update else insert. Update else insert. So that means if a record is available in target, okay, so directly update it. So if the record is available, update it, else then insert that record. So here no history maintenance, no history. Okay, so now here we can implement this with IKM Oracle incremental update knowledge module. So using this knowledge module we can implement the Oracle incremental update knowledge module. We can implement the type 2. So the type 2 is a complete history maintenance. Complete history maintenance of this type 2 mapping. So here we have to use define, so the data store behavior. We have to define data store. Data store is nothing but a table. Okay, that is nothing but a table behavior. We need to set it a table behavior as SCD from models point of view. From models point of view, we have to define, we have to mark it as a SCD. Okay, and then so we need to define, okay, what is the column? So we have the surrogate key, important columns. Surrogate key is a primary key. Primary key on target. Okay, so generally populates from a Oracle sequence. So this column is populated from a sequence. Okay, and natural key. So primary key on source. Primary key on source. So the natural key under. So current record flag column. Column name can be anything. Flag column. So which indicates record is old or new. Record using 1 or 0. Using 0 or 1. Okay, and the effective start column. So start and end columns. This is for indicating for finding old or new record. These are the columns, and the columns for SCD behavior. So that means columns for add row and change. And columns for overwrite and change. overwrite on change. So we need these columns. Okay, so we are going to see first. Let's see how to implement a SCD type 1. Okay, so now, so I'm creating some tables for SCD tables. I'm creating some tables called DEPT SCD target CDC CDC tables. So I already created these 3 tables. I will send the 3 tables, and I'm going to use this department target table as my incremental. There is no data here. Okay, let's observe this. There is no data in my department target table. Okay, so in the project, okay, I'm creating a new folder for this one. So new folder. So SCD and CDC. SCD underscore CDC. Let's see SCD. Okay, I created a new folder with SCD implementation. Project can contain folder, and folder we are going to add a mapping. Okay, so map DEPT target table SCD type 1. Type 1 implementation. This is the simple example. Okay, so the type 1 implementation. Okay, so in the type 1 implementation, so the important thing here is incremental update. Okay, incremental update is a compulsory. So now let's go to first models, drop the model table from the sources. So I'm going to use a DEPT table as my here, DEPT table, and in the targets I want to use DEPT underscore target table. So link this by name, map it. Okay, in the target table, in the targets, I want to see the integration type. We have 3 types: control append, incremental update, slowly changing. I want to do incremental update. I want to do incremental update. Please remember this. What type? Control append means it's only inserts. Okay, incremental update is update else insert. Slowly changing dimension is the slowly changing dimension behavior. So we need to see what is the, here it is. So now go to physical tab. Here select the knowledge module, integration knowledge module as, so the Oracle incremental update. Oracle incremental update knowledge module has a 3 options. We can use the normal, you can use the merge option, you can use the PLC code. So you can use any one, whatever you want. Update knowledge module. Okay, so one important thing here is, okay, so one important thing in the knowledge module implementation is we need to have a primary key is required. Okay, for incremental update, primary key is mandatory. So we need to define department number as a primary key. That is the very important thing. Because, so then only it identifies the column. Okay, here update key is not there. See here, update key is not there. Okay, so here I did not define any primary key. Let's see. I'm creating a primary key on the table department underscore target. Alter table DEPT underscore target. Add primary key. Department number. PK underscore department number underscore ODI 12 TRG. Add primary key name of department number. I'm defining a department number as my primary key. That is required. So add constant. Okay, table altered. So I added a primary key to this table. So what I have to do, I have to reverse engineer the table. I have to reverse engineer the table. Right click here. So if you modify a table, we need to reverse engineer the table. So existing objects, not new object. I don't want to reverse engineer all the table. I want to do only department underscore target table. So I'm reloading that constraints information. So now save and then open this map. See here, go to your general target incremental update. So here it is primary key pk underscore department number underscore ODI. See here, so this is the primary key. It automatically loaded into the table. Okay, this is the simple thing. So now define the knowledge module as a integration knowledge module is incremental update and the CKM is CKM underscore Oracle knowledge module. That's it. So what it will do, let's see. Okay, I don't have any data right now. I don't have any data. So I'm running this map. I'm doing the first thing is SCD type 1 with no history. See here. So these records got 9 records got loaded from my source. If you see the source card, the DEPT table, see 9 rows got updated here. Okay, so now here on the one record I'm updating 1 1. Okay, I changed the 1 1 here. So one record got updated. So what is my behavior in this my target table? It should be updated. It should be updated this and then insert a new record. It should be updated one and it should be insert a 1010 record next time. So now I'm running it again because it's a insert update else insert operation. Okay, it's done. So now go to target table. See here, 1 1 got updated and 1010 got loaded here. Everybody, is it clear? Yes or no, please?
Yes, sir.
That is the way we have to implement. So the one thing here is, so the one primary key needs to be defined. That is the one thing. So map all the columns and the target table. We need to change the target table as incremental update because I want to do both insert else update. In the target table, in the physical properties, select the corresponding incremental update knowledge module. Oracle incremental update knowledge module. Everybody is clear? The type 1 is very simple. So the type 2 is very, very important. Okay. So for implementing the type 2, okay, we are going to see, I have created this table, DEPT underscore SCD underscore target. So this column is surrogate key. This column is surrogate key. Okay, and this is my source column. This is my source column and this is my source column. Okay, and this is a flag. This is flag and this is effective start record. Start column. And this is effective end column. And column. So I created this table. So now I told you for populating this we need to add a, first thing is we need to add a primary key and then we need to add a sequencer. So now I'm creating a one primary key to this table. So I created a primary key on this column. Okay, a primary key is created. If you see here, this is a primary key. And the second one is we need to create a one, the sequence object for generating a number. Create sequence DEPT underscore ID number gen. This is my DEPT underscore ID underscore sequence. So this is the sequence I'm creating in Oracle. So it produces the series of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see here. So now surrogate key generally populates from sequence. We have natural key, the source primary key. So in my DEPT table, department number is a source primary key. This is a natural key. Natural key. This is the natural key. This is very important. Okay, so now we need to see flag column. Yes, we have a flag column and we have a effective start and effective end date. So now, so what other columns we have? We have other two columns is this one, these two. So in this one, next category of columns is SCD. Columns for add row on change and columns for override on change. I want to treat this department name is add row on change. I want to treat. So on the source side, whenever there is a change in the department name value, so it should add a new row. Whenever there is a change in the department name value, it should change a row. And so whenever there is a change on the location, I want to update that row. I want to update the same row. Let's see. Okay, first thing is we need to import the tables. Okay, so now I have a, so I'm adding a primary keys and other tables also. I created 3 tables. I'm adding a primary keys. So primary keys are very important. So 3 tables I have. So 3 tables needs to be reverse engineered first. So go to target table, reverse engineering. So new objects. See, these 3 tables are created. Now reverse engineer those tables. It's done. So 3 tables are reverse engineered. So now I have a CDC example target. Okay, SCD DEPT target. SCD DEPT target. This is the table I want to implement as a SCD. Okay, first thing is go to tables, double click this one. So OLAP type. See here the data store is table and OLAP type. So here we need to use a slowly changing dimension. So I'm treating this OLAP type as a slowly changing type. So I'm defining this table as a dimension table. This is the first thing. So we need to change the OLAP type as a slowly changing dimension in the table level. So the data store level. So the next go to attributes. Okay. So now SCD behavior. See here SCD behavior. So now the department ID is, I want it as a surrogate key. Department number as a natural key. And current flag is a current record flag. And effective start date is a start timestamp. And effective end date is a end timestamp. This one. So we have 2 more columns. Department name, I have a add row on change. That means on the source side, if the department name value changed, I'm inserting a new row on the target. So the location is add row on override on change. See here. So first thing is double click this model and then change the definitions. Change the OLAP type as a slowly changing dimension. Slowly changing dimension needs to be changed. In the attributes, we need to change the SCD behavior. What is a SCD behavior? So SCD behavior is, we need to see, okay, how we are going to treat surrogate key, natural key, add row on change, overwrite on change. Okay, everybody is clear? Yes or no, please. So far is everybody is clear? నేను అందరికి అర్థమవుతుందా? Yes or no, please? Okay, so now this is done. So this part is done. So after setting this one, we need to create a interface. So here, right click here and SCD new mapping, map underscore DAPT underscore DRG underscore SCD type 2 underscore IMPL. So the type 2 implementation. Okay. The first thing is source. The source is my department table. Under target, DEPT SCD target is my target table. Okay. So the map columns. Okay, by name. Okay. So now 3 columns. So the department ID is not mapped. Current record flag is not mapped. Effective start date and effective end date is not mapped. Current record flag set it to 1. Effective start date set it to system date, and effective end date is set it to system date. This is the direct straightforward, because so the Oracle automatically, so the behavior knowledge module, it automatically changes that options. Okay, so save it. And here, so now select this table, and in the general attributes, in the target, so the integration type is slowly changing dimension. That's very important. Slowly changing dimension is very important. We are setting this as a slowly changing dimension. Okay, so now this is done. So what is the department ID? The department ID needs to be generated using a primary key. So it's a sequence. So we have to use a sequence name on the target table. So we have to use a sequence. So how to get the sequence value in the here? So what is the sequence we created? We created this sequence. ODI target, okay, department underscore ID underscore sequence dot next value. So the sequence will generate a, so the next value, department underscore ID underscore sequence. So okay, so the sequence value should be populated using a, so this sequence dot next value, we have to use a concept of here dot next val. This is the one. So here we have to use a ODI 12 dot target dot, this is the we have to use. So ODI target is the schema where we have the schema. This is the schema name, and this is the next value. This should execute on target. That's it. ODI target dot department dot next value. That's it. Everybody is clear? So this ID should be populated from a sequencer, but writing like this is not good, because we are hard coding the sequence name. We are hard coding the physical schema. That's why what I am writing here is so instead of hard coding the schema name, I'm getting using some methods. That's it. So using this API, we am using this one. See here, this is the one. So this should execute on target. Okay, that's it. Okay, and save the mapping. Sorry, we need to set it the knowledge module. Here knowledge module is slowly changing dimension. So the knowledge module is slowly changing dimension. It's failed. Why? This is the last step. It failed. What is this error? Sequence does not exist. What is the sequence name? Department underscore ID underscore SUQ. What code is generated? Oh. ODI target is fine. Department ID underscore sequence dot next value. Let's see. DEPT underscore ID underscore SEQ. It's completed successfully. If you see here, it's failed. Okay, why? Right? The data is not loaded. Why? How can you check it? Why the data is not loaded? See, this is failed, right? But how can I check it? Session completed successfully with errors reported in error tables. So the error table. So where did the error table created? Error table creates in the work schema. ODI underscore staging schema error table will be created. So error table is this one. $E underscore table name. See here. So the column department ID cannot be null. See here. The problem is, so we are trying to insert a null into department ID column, which is not possible. See the error table. See here, session completed successfully with errors reported in error table. We need to see the error table. Where the error table will be created? Error table will be created in the target table. Sorry, in the work schema. Okay, so $E underscore DEPT underscore SCD underscore target is my table name. So the what is the error associated? So department column, department ID cannot be null. That is the problem. Why? Let's see. So let's see the $I table. Admin number is 5. This is perfectly fine. Department number. So it's inserting data into. See here. Here it is not. See, ODI folder department ID. Sequence dot next value. Okay, let's first. Okay, first we don't know, right? So $I tables are dropped. See here. It says that I know the reason, but I want to show you how to debug. See here it is, the column department ID cannot be null because on the target table. So in our target table here, so the department SCD table. So this is a primary key. This is a primary key. Primary key means not null column, compulsory we have to give a value. So, but our interface is not, our mapping is not generating that value properly. That value is not generating value properly. That's right. So super. We have to properly load that value into the table. Okay, perfect. So here in the mapping, $I and $E tables are dropping. So I cannot find that problem. So I need to fix the problem. So what I have to do is, so in the physical mapping, let's first in the knowledge module options. So we have a delete temporary objects. So let's change it to false. Don't delete the temporary objects. So we have to see how the tables are loaded. In the loading knowledge module, delete temporary objects. Let's make it to false. False means $C and $I tables will not be dropped after finishing the mapping. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, perfect. Now go to work schema and see tables, refresh it. Okay, $C table department. Yes, so the $C table, I got all the data into $C. No issues on the $C side. Next, $I table. So there is no data in the $I table. Why? Okay, so this data, before loading into this data, error records are loading into $E table. So error is column ID cannot be null. So we need to fix this one because we created that sequence. We created this sequence. Okay, this command is executing by ODI 12 stage. If you see our mapping topology, okay, so here the target connection, this is very important. Target connection with the 12 account. Okay, ODI 12 stage. ODI 12 stage user is getting a value, right? Perfect. First this one. So the next thing is so the data loaded into $C table is fine. I have the data in the $C and $I table department ID. Let's change this to staging area. So the $I value is not, department ID is not generating properly. No. This ID is the $I ID is not getting the value properly. Changing on the new dimension values. So the department ID, this is fine. Load data into flow table code. Okay, this is fine. serial number, that is perfect. 1 second, sir. Just please try to understand what I'm doing here. So I'm trying to debug why department ID is not populating. So in the $E table, it says that, okay, let's truncate this table first and then run it again. So I'm truncating the $E table. Okay, so now run the map again. Physical map, let's see what is the knowledge module selected is slowly changing dimension and flow control. Let's make this flow control false. Let's make the flow control false and then see. Yeah, it's failed. Yeah, it will fail. Okay. Let's see what code it cannot insert a null into this one. So what code it generated? Department ID. So the department ID SCD underscore TRGS. What is the value I have in my IDAL table? Yeah, department ID is null. So we need to see the department ID is not populating. Okay, so why it is not populating? So we will see in 2 minutes. Do I have a mapping for the table here? Department ID. Perfect. So let's make it a hint as a stage target. Yes. See here, now it is populating successfully. If you see the data here, in the target table, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the sequence number is generated. So now it's loaded. The start date is today and end date is this one. Okay. So the one thing is we need to define. We need to see the behavior. So knowledge module. So here it's automatically generated the primary key values using this concept. So this is called as the substitution API methods. The substitution API method. See here. Instead of giving a hard coding that sequence name here directly, so what I did is I mentioned this in our using substitute API. So see here, if you see the code here, so this is the command I have given. This is the command I have given, but actually it's generated the code as, if you see the code here, it generated with this command ODI 12 target dot dept id dot next value. So I got this full name. I got the full name using that method instead of hard coding that one. Is everybody is a clear place? Yes or no? చెప్పింది అర్థమైందండి? Yes or no, please? So please go through the video once again and then we will see. Okay, so now I want to make some changes and then see how it is going to behave here. Okay, so now on the source side, in the source side in the department table, so I'm changing this to 1, 1, 2, I'm changing to 100. I change it to 100. So the department number is changed. Okay, so what is the meaning of changing this department number? If you change the department number, so it should insert a new row in the target table. How many rows we have in the target table SCD here? We have 11 rows. It should insert a new row with 12, one here with 100 by updating this end date and this current record flag. Let's see. It's done. So now refresh this. See here, I have a 100. So it's a new row created with 1 and see here. So I is current flag is 0. That means ended. So now here is ended with today's date. So created today's date. And other than that, so it automatically created a new record. So now on the source side, I'm creating a So now here for echo, for here 2, I'm changing to 200. Okay, I'm changing to 200. So the location changed. Location changed means it should not create a new record. It should update the same record. $200. See, because it's a location change. The location change means it won't insert a new record. It's just updated the existing record only. This is the way we are going to implement SCD behavior. Is everybody clear, please? Yes or no? Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Yes,
please
sir.
go through this video, and tomorrow we are going to have a class for implementing. Tomorrow we will see CDC. Please go through this video once again, and please try to do the steps, and then we will continue in tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we will see CDC. Okay. Prashant Garu.
Okay, sir.
Prashant Garu.